Alrighty, this is going to be part 4 of Tales of Destiny Director's Cut. I think I just need to go to the harbor and get on the boat. Irene says when you get close to Aquavale, please use a rowboat to get to land. Leon says, thanks for taking care of us, Irene. Kongman says, Philia, you're really going, aren't you? If I weren't helping to rebuild the town, I would come along. Philia says, it'll be okay. You're needed here in town. Kongman says, how are you so kind? What an inspiration. Ruti says, what a nice interpretation. Very good. Kongman says, please protect Philia properly in my place. If anything happens, I'll destroy you. Stan says, don't worry. It'll be fine. Leave everything to me. Well then, we're leaving now. Really, thank you so much. Irene says, Stan, don't forget about our challenge from earlier, okay? Stan says, I won't. Who will realize their ideal first, right? Irene says, I hope we'll have some results the next time that we meet. Ruti says, ideals, huh? Wonder if that's something easier said than done. Mary says, Ruti? Ruti says, nothing. Stan says, well then, take care. Stan says, we're going to Aquavale, but what kind of place is it? Philia says, Aquavale is not just one single state, it's the general name for a group of allied provinces, Shiden, Moreau, and Taratsi. The countries are made up of many islands, and they come and go by boat. Stan says, Irene said that they were hostile. Philia says, they've imposed a policy of national isolation. It's almost impossible for anyone to make contact. The relations with Synagald are particularly bad. She was probably referring to that. Ruti says, I heard through the grapevine that Aquavale has a really strong navy. What if they're connected to the Armada? Philia says, I do wonder about that. Stan says, what's wrong, Leon? Leon says, I want to think for a bit. I'll be on the deck. Chaltier says, are you alright, Master? It's actually kind of surprising to me that you get motion sickness so easily. Leon says, listen up, Shal, you will absolutely not tell any of the others about this. Chaltier says, well, sure, I won't tell anyone, but... Stan says, hey, Leon. You okay? You don't look so good. Leon says, what do you want? Stan says, I don't want anything. Sometimes a guy just wants to talk. Leon says, I have nothing to discuss with you. Hey, didn't you hear me? Stan says, Irene was pretty amazing, wasn't she? Stan continues, I want to make a place where everyone can smile and where no one hates each other. She's amazing to be able to speak her mind like that, and she is so kind and pretty. Hey Leon, do you have anyone that you like? Leon says, don't ask me something so stupid. Stan says, is that a no? Leon says, that's none of your business. Besides, I have no interest in... Stan says, you know, before I realized that Irene was all I could think about. I wonder if this is what they call love. Philia says, you two seem to be enjoying yourselves. What are you discussing? Stan says, that's a secret between men. Isn't that right, Leon? Leon says, you were just yammering on all by yourself. Stan says, was I? Philia says, Stan and Leon sure are getting along well. Stan says, yeah. Leon says, stop joking around. Since when did we become buddies? Stan says, you don't have to be embarrassed. Leon says, who's embarrassed? I can't stand laid-back, careless, overly friendly people like you. Mary says, what's up? Ruti says, if I go over there, I'd just be a wet blanket. I guess that's kinda ironic. Mary says, I see. If that's the case, I'll stay over here by your side. Ruti says, you don't have to worry about it. Mary says, Ruti, it's okay to do what you want. Ruti says, thanks. Stan says, I can see the coast. The captain says, we're alongside the coast of Shidden. Any further and we'll cross the boundary. Stan says, alright, we'll switch out for the rowboat. Leon says, first we'll go to the city and gather information. Stan says, this is Aquavale, we finally arrived. Leon, what's wrong? I swear, for as long as I draw breath, that I will never board another rowboat again. Stan says, yeah. Stan says, I never thought I would visit so many different countries in such a short period of time. Ruti says, you were gonna be at night, weren't you? They're going a little quick for me. Why don't you ask Leon to remind you with an electric shock? Okay. A lot of this skits in this game are kind of like just repeated information. Seems like a missed opportunity to me. But this is one of the earlier Tales games. Stan says, wow, this is Shiden. The buildings are all so different. Should we go look for the Oberon branch, like in Calvalas? Leon says there isn't one here. Ruti says Aquavale has a policy of national isolation. Philia says, incidentally, there's no temple here either. Stan says, what do we do now? Ruti says, Mary and I will hang around and try to scout out some information. You guys lay low. Stan says, will it be okay if it's just you two? Ruti says, we'll be okay because it's just us. We'll be too conspicuous if we try to go all together. Stan says, they're not back yet. A man in town says, Tiberius carried out the military suppression of Moreau. The woman says the Moreau port has been blockaded. Business is going to plummet because of that. It seems Tiberius called in an outsider as his military advisor. I've heard about that. His name was Gray something? Stan says, Graybum. Dimlo says, be quiet. The man continues, there are also rumors that the third prince is headed toward Moreau. Isn't he just sightseeing as usual? That helpless libertine. He used to be a sensible person. Dimlo says it's possible we obtained the information we needed. Stan says, so Grayboom isn't here. We should check out Moreau. Philia says, how? If the ports are closed, we can't use a ship. The mysterious man says, 2 men, 1 woman. You lot must be the backup. Please go to Moreau at once. I will also contact the young prince. Stan says, aren't you mistaking us for someone else? Leon says, indeed we are the backup. What's the best way to get to Moreau? The mysterious man says you can use the sea cave. There's an entrance to it at the south of town. Leon says, got it. The man says the floor of the cavern is very brittle. Please be cautious. There are terrible monsters living there as well. Try not to linger. Stan says, you're just gonna lie to him like that? Leon says he's the one who made such a careless mistake. Ruti says, we're back. We heard some things from the townspeople. It seems like Graybum is in Moreau. Dimlo says we know. Ruti says, well then, apparently Moreau's under military suppression. Stan says we heard that as well. Ruti says, do you know about the prince? He's in Moreau. Philia says, yes, we know. Ruti says, Mary, I feel like screaming at the top of my lungs right now. Mary says, I'll follow your lead. Leon says, we should head for that sea cave. The entrance is south of town. Ruti says, yeah, whatever. A crying child on a bridge is sobbing uncontrollably, like a little bitch. Stan says, what's the matter? The child says, my dad, he never says anything nice to me. Stan says, cheer up, don't cry, I'm sorry. Leon says, let it go, we've got work to do. The child says, you're mean, you don't know a thing. Leon says, "Of course I don't. How would I know? You don't understand your own father, yet you expect me to?" Stan says, "Leon, he's just a little kid." Leon says, "Stan, be quiet. He's a total stranger to you, even though he's your father." The child says, "But father doesn't," and trails off. Leon says, "If you won't change, then it's up to you to change your own way of thinking. That's the right thing to do." The child says, "I don't understand at all," and runs away from the two creepy men that are bothering him on the bridge. Well, that's just telling us where to go, so that's not something we need to deal with right now. I love some rock rally. I'm teaching everyone. I don't want to deal with that. Apparently that cave is dangerous. No shit. Grandpa's discovery. His sexy discovery. Into your butthole. Oh yeah. Why not? There is a cat. Is there really no, like, weapon shop or anything, or one of those guys I can trade to? It's rude. Calling the police. There's the harbor. Feather robes to Frost Home. What is that, an electric guitar? Some drums and a piano. feather robes was it? I think it was 11, but I'm gonna double check. 10 troops. Not enough to upgrade anything else. Stan says that's the entrance to the underwater cave. Philia says be careful, the ground is fragile in some places. We'll need to be cautious as there are monsters as well. There's an ocean above our heads. Something about the ceiling collapsing. Nothing too important there. Ruti says, everyone wait. Catwhite says, what's wrong? Ruti says, I've been getting a lot of pocket change recently, so my wallet is heavy and hard to move. Dimlo says, I was expecting something a lot worse than this. Stan says, I thought monsters were gonna pop out. Ruti says, oh no, quick, help, pick it all up. I was worried that was gonna happen. I'm one gald short. Where did it go? Found it. Philia says, Ruti, you shouldn't run around like that. If the cave floor collapses, we'll be in trouble. Ruti says, I'll risk it for the biscuit. And then falls through the floor. With Stan. Stan says, Ruti, are you okay? Ruti says, what are you doing? It's your fault the floor caved in. Stan says, are you hurt? Ruti says, I'm fine. Stan says, good, I'm glad. Ruti says, I feel like I should thank you for trying to help me. But I didn't need your help. Okay. Stan says, we fell from pretty high up. It doesn't look like we can climb out. We'll just have to wait for Leon and the others to come and help us. Anyway, I'm glad nothing happened to you. You said that already. I know that money is important to you, but you're a girl. You should be more careful. Ruti says, what's with that? You know money is important. What the hell do you know? Stan just kind of mutters. Ruti says, do I really need to listen to this? You're a girl, so take care of yourself? Really? And you're not even joking. Why do you have to go and say things like that? Stan says, it's because we're friends, right? Ruti says, friends, right. I was thinking about it before, but you really don't know anything, do you? That's why you can so innocently call us friends. Stan says, really? Ruti says, my point is that you had a cushy upbringing. You and I are very different. We live in different worlds, so don't lump us together. Stan says, completely different worlds. I never really thought about it like that. Ruti, why did you become a hunter? Ruti says, don't ask about my work if it doesn't concern you. Stan says, we have some time, so please tell me. I've been wondering about it. Ruti says, about what? About why you'll do anything, no matter how crazy, as long as money or lens is involved. Ruti says, you could say it's greed. Stan says, but don't you think you're more important than money? Ruti says, of course not. What a useless question. Stan says, no matter how much you stand to gain, that's wrong, isn't it? Your life can never be replaced. Ruti says, this is why I say you had a cushy upbringing. If I don't jump at the money in front of me today, I won't be able to live the life I want tomorrow. If you were more like me, you wouldn't be able to say that your life is more important than money. Stan says, Ruti, is the reason you're so worried about money and lens because... Ruti interrupts him. Stan says, I see, so it was that kind of thing. Sorry for making you talk about it. Ruti says, I didn't even say anything. Stan says, I'm pretty sure what I said was right. Ruti says, what you said? Stan says that you should cherish your life, especially if you have people waiting for you. Stan says, if anything happened to you, don't you think those people would be sad, Ruti? I can't say anything too selfish. I've gone and made my family worry about me as well. Stan says, ow, ow, ow. Ruti says, what's wrong? I must have hit something when we fell. I'm pretty tough though, so I'm fine. Ruti says, when we fell, were you maybe holding me? Stan says, yeah. Ruti says, you took the fall for me, but you've been playing dumb this whole time. Ruti says, idiot, isn't that way too excessive? Stan says, I'd consider you a close friend, Ruti. I'd do anything for you. Sorry, but I'm not gonna budge on this one. I'm sure it sure would be swell if they came and saved us. Philia says, Stan, Ruti, are you alright? Mary says, we found some rope. Grab on. Ruti says, I guess I caused you guys some trouble. Sorry about that. Clemente says, I wasn't expecting that. Ruti says, money is still super important, but I'll try to limit myself from now on. It would have been bad if I had gotten seriously hurt. Stan says, that's right. It's a good way of looking at things. Ruti says, thanks. I don't want to trouble everyone too much. And then Ruti laughs because Dimlos and Stan both said too much at the same time. And she says, you said it together. You two are one and the same. Dimlos says, how is that so? Don't insult me. Stan says, you saying that was more rude. Philia says the atmosphere around Ruti has changed a bit. Mary says, you might be right. It's probably a good thing. Philia says, yeah. Stan and Ruti haven't talked to each other for a long time. I feel like I shouldn't interrupt. Surprising, I didn't know you were so polite. Well, what idea do you have of me? I'm not some simpleton. Okay. Are the swords becoming more like their masters? Listen, Stan, don't tell anyone what we were talking about. Yeah. Just the standard, overly aggressive JRPG female trope. Never quite gotten that. Writing all the women as bitches, but then somehow the protagonist always falls for them. Like, I love bitches. Like... I don't know, if it was me, I wouldn't take the time to impress bitches that I don't like. Let's see here. Picked up some armor A. I've checked this in a while. Let's see. Stan says, we made it to the exit safely. Mary says, don't speak too soon. And a penis with multiple mouths appears. That's scary. Say, Dimlos, do Sordians ever get hungry? Of course you'd ask that. The more I talk to you, the more you seem like a human being. It makes me wonder. Humans have stomachs and get hungry, so shouldn't you? Right, Leon? Don't look at me like I follow your logic or something. Atway and Dimlos are more than just friends, right? More than just friends? What makes you think that? What a boring reaction. I thought you'd be more embarrassed or upset. I don't want you to underestimate me. More than just friends. I get it. They're best friends. Ruti says you... Shut up. says, "This is Moreau. We finally made it." Has a similar feeling to Shiden, says Ruti. Dimlo says, "Let's try to catch some gossip. The townspeople might know something about Greyboom." Philia says, "What about the backup?" Clemente says, "We have no choice but to ignore it for now. There's nothing we can do about it." Philia says, "Ha." Ruti says, "Wait, what's this about backup?" To take a small boat, please come to the boarding area. Interesting. The girl says we shouldn't stay in the city too long. The city is in turmoil, but would you like to stay? Sure. Check out the shops. Looks like we need to use the gondolas to get around this town. Leon has another joke about being seasick, I guess. What is this foreshadowing that I'm gonna get a new party member soon? Kumo. Stop that. Looks like the town's members are getting rewarded to snitch on each other. What a lovely place. Yeah, I talked to all these people. Kumo. What? Come here. What's the matter? You went outside like an hour ago. I'm pretty sure you're fine. Oh, wind. Ant I ish. I want to convey my words, meant for the love at home. I bravely fought. Protect the land I love, to enjoy life without tears. Stan says, whoa. That bitch sings too slow. Question mark says, Johnny number 3, The Ballad of the Watchman. I'm grateful you came to listen. Stan says, if that's number 3, do you have more songs? Would you like to listen? Requests are always welcome. Stan says, in that case. Ruti says, wait a second, this guy's kind of fishy. His clothes are all fluttery. So cute, says Mary. Chaltier says, that man. Leon says, do you know him? The soldier says, people of Moreau gather at the port right now. Oh, here come the tasteless. His Majesty, King Tiberius, has graciously decided to give a speech upon his return to the country. Philia says, Tiberius, I'm certain I've heard that name somewhere before. Something about him conquering Moreau with Greybum as an advisor. Ruti says, let's go to the port. Maybe Greybum himself will be there. Stan says, right. Sure. Huh, the guy that was singing. Where'd he go? Greybum might be at the port. Let's go to the port. Ooh, puts a blanket on a staircase. A crazy person. Philia says, I don't see him. Is that King Tiberius? He's kinda important looking. The soldier says, Your Majesty, if you please. Tiberius says, People of Moreau, the time is upon us. Soon all of Aquavale shall be united. At that time, we will finally be able to realize our deepest desires, to defeat the enemy nation Sinagald and the vassal Fitzgald. Stan says, he said, what now? Tiberius says, you, black-haired man, over there. Leon says, are you talking to me? Tiberius says, what is that sword you're carrying? Is that not the divine blade of our land? Leon says, what? Tiberius says, I heard the story from Greybum. You're Leon Magnus. How dare you so brazenly appear in our land? But your luck has come to an end. Ruti says, yikes, looks like we were found out. Tiberius says, capture them. Stan says, everyone, run. Some soldiers are chasing us. Question mark says, come with me. We'll talk later. They're coming after us. Everyone is tired from running. Question mark says, you guys stay out of sight, I'll take care of the rest. The soldier says, have any suspicious people come this way? Question mark says, what do you mean? I've been alone this whole time. The soldier says, don't think we want to arrest you too if you're hiding something from us. Oh, do you wish to listen to my songs? Well then, I'll play my most treasured one. Go forth, tame the surging waves, rally under the black something. The sea is our something. Hey now, I'm only halfway done. Some people have no taste. Stan says, thank you, you saved us. I'm Stan, and who are you? Johnny says, I'm a hunter of love and dreams, Johnny. You could call me a clown of sorts. Ruti says, just as I thought, this guy is definitely fishy. Ruti says, based on what Tiberius said, I take it you're not from this country. Well, well, then might you be the aides sent by your native land? Philia says, then are you the Prince of Shedon? Let me remove that since it's being weird. Johnny says, I am as you say, however, I'm certain I heard the aides were a group of just 3 people. Well, it doesn't matter. Let's go inside. You'll certainly be discovered if we stay out here. Ruti says, seriously, what are these aides you keep talking about? I'm not following this conversation at all. Johnny says, what Tiberius said about that sword is true, it's originally from here. Ever since the royal family of Shiden found it, my ancestors kept it enshrined as a sacred treasure. Ruti says, then how did Leon come to have it? Johnny says, about 10 years ago it was stolen. Leon says, I didn't do it. Don't look at me like that. Chaltier says, even I don't know who did it. Leon says, this sword belongs to me now. I'm not handing it over. Johnny says, I don't care. That was a long time ago. Besides, I'm not very good with a sword. You came all this way, but it seems I won't be needing your aid after all. Stan says, what do you mean? Johnny says, I haven't the slightest desire to quarrel with Tiberius. I came to Moreau on a mere whim. All I want is to spend my days as selfishly as possible. Leon says, fine by us. Stan says, are you really okay with that, though? Tiberius is definitely going to invade Shiden next, you know. Johnny says, that is what my fellow countrymen are worried about. Even though I worry about it too, there's nothing I can do. Philia says, that's the impression we got when we listened to the townspeople. Leon says, do you know anything about Tiberius' new advisor, Greyboom? Johnny says, of course. Right now he is in Tirazzi, which is Tiberius' homeland. Ruti says, we just missed him. Leon says, how do we get to Tirazzi? Johnny says, their waters have even tighter security than Moreau. If you had Fate's Black Cross Armada, there's a chance you could break through. Stan says, Fate? A man runs down and says, Prince, there's an emergency. They're executing Lord Fate. That damn new governor, Batista, has just declared it. Philia says, Batista? Johnny says, ho ho, now there's a story that reeks of blood. Man says, Prince, now is the time to make a stand. You can't just stand idly by and watch Lord Fate die. Johnny says, he has always been prepared for this. There's nothing I can do now. The man says, isn't he your friend? Johnny says, I am but a clown. I understand how you feel, but that's expecting too much of me. The person leaves the room. Dimlo says he's supposed to be royalty? Unbelievable. Leon says, can you brief us about the situation? We're the aides sent from Shiden. The man says yes. Lord Fate, the son of the former Lord of Moreau, has been confined inside the castle. His wife, Liana, is with him. At this rate, they'll die, I guess? I don't know. The ferryman says, did you tell the prince about Lord Fate? He's heading toward Moreau Castle by himself. Alone? What does he think he's going to do? Clemente says, it seems like this was his plan all along. Ruti says, even though he said he wasn't gonna help. Stan says, we gotta go after him. Philia says, agreed. The man says, I beg of you, please help our prince. Leon says, fine. This Fate person can be useful to us. Because of the Black Cross Armada, says Chaltier. He's our only option if we want to get to Tirazzi. Stan says, then it's decided. The ferryman says, the front entrance of the castle has been closed. I'll take you through the back by a boat. The boat will be on standby outside. Please come find us when you've finished your preparations. Stan says, got it. We need to catch up to Johnny. When we're ready, we should board the gondola, so we can go to the castle. What is this about us being aides? Nobody's explained it. Back in Shiden, while we were waiting for you and Mary to come back, whisper, whisper. Huh, I see. So basically you guys are running a scam. Leon says, no, they're the ones who made the mistake. But you didn't correct them. Like I said, it's their mistake. Shawl, that man they called Johnny, have you seen him before? He looks very familiar, like someone I've seen several times before. Are you two acquainted? Nothing like that. He couldn't hear me after all. Johnny says, why are you guys helping? I told you I didn't need any help. Philia says, we have a common enemy, so let's fight together. Johnny says, it's crazy to ask someone who's come this far to leave. I don't have a choice. We need to get to the prison. I believe that's where fate is being held. Johnny joined the party. Looks like he has mistaken us for the Darklings. Try to operate the device with a red valve. Okay. Guess we need to go to the jail first, so can't go that way. Johnny says, we've come to save you, baby. Johnny? Hey, Liana, are you doing okay? I haven't seen Fate yet, so I take it he's in a different cell. How in the world did you even get here? I just came in from outside. Allow me to introduce you. This is the wife of the next Lord of Moreau. You're safe now, I'm here. Please wait just a little longer. Liana says, Johnny, that person. Johnny says, yes, just leave it all to me. I will, without fail, rescue Fate. I wish there was something I could do to help. Oh, this cell has everything you need for treating your wounds. When you're hurt, return here. Don't push yourself too much. Johnny says, I could say the same for you. You should escape from the castle first. Liana says, until I see for myself that he's safe, I will remain here. Johnny says, you won't listen to anything I say, huh? Then we shall finish up here as quickly as we can. Looks like we got a water puzzle. Check the other side, so I'm gonna check that first. Well, if I can anyway. Guess not. part of that puzzle, I guess. Lame. Wait, that's the main entrance. There's a lot of soldiers guarding it. Well, crap. Was there some other way I could go? No. Looks like I unglitched out of it. That's good. Oh, interesting. So it's like a little puzzle. So that's also the main entrance. They have two main entrances. Got another water puzzle. Alright. I think I see what's going on here. These drums are in the way, so we can't go forward. Stand in front of one of them. Why? There are traps and mechanisms passed down from ancient times in the castle. Now beat the drum according to those stone statues. I don't get it, but if you say so. Press circle to beat Stan's drum with the button, and Johnny's with the left button. You'll earn points if you follow it correctly. perfect is 24, passing is 15, and I earned 9. Okay. Well, this sucks. Well, we got 16 points that time. Not sure where we use that at, but we'll figure it out. Put that up there first. Stan says, Batista, you have nowhere left to run. Batista says, you've finally shown yourselves. This time it won't go like before. Mary says, you don't have the tiara. Batista says, I already got rid of that worthless thing. Philia says, Batista, it's not too late. You can stop helping Greyboom. You can still return to your old self when you were earnestly devoted to the faith. Batista says, what a naive little girl. Even from the beginning, I never believed in the goddess. I follow Greyboom because it feels right. Nothing more, nothing less. Philia says, unforgivable. Johnny says, hey, you false lord. Where are you keeping Fate? Locked away in a cell. I have to take good care of him until the execution. Johnny says, fine. Hearing that calms me. Now I can play your funeral march. Goodness, I can't talk. Now I can play your funeral march without worry. Philia says, Batista, I will not allow you to speak words that desecrate the goddess. Batista says, and just how will you do that? What can an indecisive person like you do about it? Batista says this wasn't but the power I got from Grabum. Philia says, Batista. Batista says, despite everything, you've grown strong. Finish me off, the man who degraded your beloved goddess. Can you not do it? Of course not. You're just, like I said, far too gentle. You'll need to become more bloodthirsty. Johnny says, let's go rescue Fate. There's another cell behind the door over there. Philia says, I'm sorry, would you allow me to stay here by myself for a bit longer? Stan says, of course. Fate, are you okay? Says Johnny. Fate says, Johnny, thanks for coming. Who are they? Johnny says, worry not, these people are my aides, uninvited as they may be. Fate says, is that so? Everyone, thank you for saving me. I'm Fate Moreau. I'm the son of the previous lord. Johnny says, did Tiberius kill old man Gino? Fate says, yes. Leon says, I know it's sudden, but we have a request. We want to go to Tarazzi. Can you take us there with your black cloth, Armada? Tarazzi. I see now, says Johnny, so it was that kind of thing. Stan says, we have to capture Grabum. Fate says, but... Johnny says, it'll be fine. These people can do it. Besides, I'll be with them. Stan says, Johnny? Johnny says, can you even refuse? You're the one who told me we should fight together. Fate says, of course you would say that. In that case, Johnny, about Eleanor. Johnny says, do not speak of that. It's not like that. I understand. I'll make preparations for a ship at the port. I'm indebted to you, says Johnny. Batista is remembering something that Philia is remembering something in the past from Batista. Anyway, Batista in this memory says, Philia, what are you doing at this late hour? Ah, Batista, my investigation's dragged on a little bit. Geez, what a slow girl. Well, no matter. I'll help you as well. Batista, thank you. If I leave it to you, you'll be here till dawn. Stan says, Philia. Philia says, sorry, Stan, I've been thinking a lot about it. Stan says, no need to apologize. Philia says, I don't think what Batista did is acceptable, but there was a time when this man was a devout priest and a good mentor. That's all I want to believe. Is it wrong for me to be like this? Stan says, no, it isn't wrong. You're fine just the way you are. You're so kind. That's what makes you who you are, Philia. Philia says, thanks, Stan. Liana says, Fate. Fate says, Liana, I'm so glad you're safe. I'm sorry for making you worry. Liana says, thanks for saving Fate. Fate says, I'll head back to port. When you're ready, meet me there. Just telling us we need to take the ship in the port to Tarazzi. To Tarazzi. Grazie. Another flashback. Hey, it's dangerous. Let's not do this. You're afraid your dad will get mad at you. Come on, tell me. No, because there's a girl. The girl says, I'm fine. The leader says, hey, this armor is awesome. The boy says, it's kinda scary. The girl says, it's so cute that you're afraid of mere armor. The boy says, no, it's not. The armor in my house is much more scary. I'm fine with all of this. The leader says, I don't care. Let's make this our secret base. The girl says, yeah, that's good. Let's do it. The boy says, "You can't. Your father will punish you." The leader says, "Well then, pull yours out." The girl says, "We should hide the treasure in that armor then." The boy says, "Wait, me too." Stan says, "What's wrong?" Johnny says, "No, it was a long time ago." A meteor that sparked the Aether War. I bet you could sell it. Interesting. Are you going to Tarazzi? If so, you should take care of yourself. Bunch of merchants that don't sell anything. Alright, we are now on our way to Tarazzi. Fate says Aquavale is a country that was originally separated from Synagald. That's why we've traditionally been hostile towards that country. Johnny says, "For some time now, Tiberius has been insisting on invading Synagald. The reason why you've probably been so active here is because Greybum has been manipulating you." Fate says, "He seems to be working against Vandaria as well." Stan says, Fate says, "I heard that they're trying to link up with forces that oppose the royal family. They're trying to start a civil war." Johnny says, "If you get involved in too many things, you'll usually end up getting the wrong end of the stick." We crashed into something. Fate says, "What the hell?" Johnny says, "We should check it out, too." Leon says, "Stop messing around." But what if I like messing around? Isn't that the point of a video game? Calm down, sir. Stan says, "Fate, what's wrong?" Fate says, "We got attacked by the Kraken." Clemente says, "It's the work of Greybum." Fate says, "Damn, if that thing hits us, our ship won't survive." Ruti says, "If you don't want to be thrown overboard, you better apologize." Stan says, "I won't let that happen." Fate says, "Well done." Ruti says, When you put it like that, I'm tempted to charge a special rate. Fate says we won't let them get in our way any longer. We'll breach the sea defense line at once. Please just wait a little longer. Mary says takoyaki. Stan says let's do it. I have plenty of ingredients. Ruti says please no. They're gonna eat the squid. Bake it into pastry puffs. Takoyaki is delicious, actually, so... Leon says, isn't that? And then trails off. Fate says, Johnny, are you sure you want to be working with those people? Johnny says, I promised that we'd fight together. I'm going to lend them my aid. Fate says, don't play dumb. You're not after Greybum, you're after Tiberius. Fate says, you're just chasing after revenge for Eleanor. Johnny says, I never said anything like that. Fate says, how long are you going to keep dragging her into this? I'm not saying you should forget about her, but shouldn't you be looking towards the future? It also pains me every time I think about Eleanor, but it's been 4 years since then. I can't keep obsessing about it. Even more so in our position, isn't that right, Johnny? Johnny says, I'm not like you. I'm not carrying anything on my back. My father does all the work. I'm just a carefree kid. Fate says, so be it. Suit yourself. Johnny says, I never said a word about it. He makes a lot of assumptions. Stan, Leon, you agree, right? Stan says, didn't mean to eavesdrop. Johnny says, what I'm about to tell you is just a made-up story. There was once a man. With him was his best friend, as well as a woman they'd both known since childhood. All three of them were always together, all young and their heads full of dreams. Eventually, the man's best friend and the woman they had known since childhood fell in love. Stan says not him, but his best friend. Johnny says the man knew how they felt. He set it up so it would work. Well, that was supposed to be the story's happy ending. Stan says, what happened next? Johnny says the woman was suddenly kidnapped. Stan says, that's terrible. Johnny said the villain had tremendous power. Neither the man nor his best friend could do anything to stop him. Eventually, the woman who had known him since childhood passed away, leaving him to fend for himself. Stan says, what happened next? Johnny says, that's it. Stan says, that can't be how it ends. Leon says, why did you tell us that? Johnny says, I just felt like it. Leon says that story, just now, Johnny must have been, ... Leon says, it's nothing. Johnny says, we've arrived in Tedatse. The sailor says, young prince, you're safe. Fate says, are you from Shiden territory, Johnny? When will you be ready? Johnny says, not me, it's just a bunch of people in the country who have their own agendas. The sailor says, I was not told you'd be coming. What the hell is going on? Johnny says, I'll explain the situation later. I need to get into the castle. How do I do that? The sailor says, the gates of the castle are tightly closed, making it impossible to enter from the front. We have to go around to the back door by boat. We'll show you the way. Johnny says, it's just like the one at Moreau Castle. It seems we have a connection to the back door. Stan says, yes it is. Ruti says, it sounds kinda bad, but I don't have a choice at this point. Sailor says, I'll be waiting for you at the pier in the center of the city. Johnny says, Fate, get out of here now. Tiberius' soldiers are closing in. Fate says, I'm not leaving you behind. I'll await your return. I'll just be me and do what I want. You have no right to complain. Johnny says, alright, suit yourself. Stan says, Mr. Fate, are you sure? Fate says, don't worry, the people of the Black Cross Fleet are not just good at sailing. I'm also good at land battles. I'll show Tiberius what I can do. Johnny says, well then, we'd better get to the castle. Stan says, right. Let's take a peek around first, okay? Doesn't look like anybody's home. E.T. phone home. this actually looks like a good place to stop, so I will see you next time.